The human colony Vega 12 was known as one of the calmest and safest places in the outer region. Families lived in tall silver buildings, children played under the blue-tinted sky, and farmers grew food on green fields that stretched for miles. For years, nothing dangerous ever happened there. But one morning, everything changed. The first sign was small. The long-range communication station on Earth noticed that Vega 12 had missed its daily check-in signal. Usually, their signal came exactly at the same time every day. This time, nothing came. At first, the officers thought it was a technical problem. Maybe a storm on Vega 12. Maybe a damaged antenna. These things happened. But then the second check-in time passed. And then the third. Still no signal. Inside Earth Command, Commander Hale stood in front of the giant holoscreen and looked at the empty signal graph. His jaw tightened. Vega 12 has never gone silent, he said. Not once in 12 years. The room grew quiet. Officers exchanged tense looks. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. To confirm the situation, Earth launched a small scout ship called Horizon. It was fast, light, and perfect for investigation missions. The crew of Horizon consisted of 6 trained officers: Captain Mira Dalton, pilot Ross Carter, engineer Liana, 2 security specialists, and a young communication officer named Theo. They expected to find a broken satellite. They did not expect to find death. After 2 days of travel, Horizon reached Vega 12 space. Everything looked normal at first. The stars shined bright. No strange energy storms. No asteroid fields. The colony should have been alive and busy. But the moment they dropped out of warp, Captain Mira stood up from her chair in shock. The colony was gone. Floating in the darkness were huge pieces of metal, broken ships, shattered buildings, and the burned remains of what once was a peaceful human world. Fires still glowed weakly on drifting fragments. No signals. No escape pods. No movement. Only destruction. Pilot Ross whispered, "God, what happened here?" The ship's sensors scanned the area. The results made engineer Liana's heart freeze. There are no life signs. Not a single human. The entire colony is destroyed. Theo, the young communication officer, stared at the screen with wide eyes. He had spoken with Vega 12 children during his first assignment. Now, there was nothing left of their world. Captain Mira tried to stay calm, but her voice trembled slightly. "Record everything. Earth needs to see this." Horizon slowly moved through the debris field. Burn marks on the metal looked strange, nothing like normal weapons. Some pieces looked melted, others sliced cleanly as if cut by invisible blades. "What could do this?" Ross asked. Liana shook her head. "Not pirates. Not rebels. Not any alien weapon we know." Before they could analyze further, the ship's alarm blared. "Unknown object detected," Theo said, his voice shaking. It's behind us." Everyone turned. Out of the darkness, a massive black ship slowly decloaked. It was shaped like a jagged spear, silent and terrifying. No light came from it. Its surface looked like living shadow. The ship carried no known human or alien markings. Captain Mira felt fear crawl across her skin. "That is not one of ours." The black ship suddenly powered its weapons. A surge of dark energy glowed along its hull. "It's charging," Liana shouted. "Get us out of here," Mira ordered. Pilot Ross slammed the controls and Horizon shot forward, dodging an incoming energy blast that passed so close it shook the entire ship. The unknown enemy fired again, cutting through the debris like paper. Horizon spun, twisted, and escaped behind a large fragment of metal. "They are faster," Ross said through clenched teeth. "We won't last long." Theo tried to activate the long-range transmitter. Sparks flew from the panel. "It's damaged. I can only send a short message." "Send it," Mira said. "Anything. Earth must know what happened." Theo pressed every working switch. The system flickered alive for a few seconds. "Message ready," he said. Mira spoke loudly and clearly as the ship shook under another near hit. "This is Captain Mira Dalton of the scout ship Horizon. Vega 12 has been destroyed. Repeat, Vega 12 destroyed. Enemy ship detected. Unknown technology. Extremely dangerous. We are under attack." The enemy ship hit them with a glancing shot. Horizon spun violently and the message cut off. "Message sent," Theo yelled. "But I don't know how much they received." "Doesn't matter," Mira said. "It's enough. We need to survive long enough to confirm it." But the black ship was closing in. It moved silently, like a predator that enjoyed the hunt. The dark energy around its hull grew brighter. "They're preparing a final shot," Liana said. If that hits us, we're done. The crew watched as the enemy ship aimed directly at them. Mira whispered to herself, "Who are you? Why would you destroy a human world?" No answer came. Only the cold darkness of space. Then the enemy fired. A massive explosion of dark energy filled the screen, and everything went black. On Earth, Commander Hale stared at the broken transmission that suddenly appeared on the screen. Static, fragments of Myra's voice, and the last words that chilled every human listening. Vega 12, destroyed, enemy, unstoppable. The room fell silent. Commander Hale slowly stood tall, his voice turning cold. Prepare the council. Humanity has been attacked. This was no accident. No mistake. No misunderstanding. A colony had been wiped out. And Earth would answer. With fire. With fury. With 700,000 warships. The broken message from Captain Mira repeated again and again on the main screen inside Earth Command. Static. A shaking voice. Explosions. And then the final terrifying words. Vega 12, destroyed, enemy, unstoppable. The officers in the room stood frozen. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. It felt as if the entire world had stopped breathing. Commander Hale slowly stepped forward. His face was tight with fear and anger, but his voice stayed calm. Replay it, he ordered. The message played again. Every officer listened carefully, hoping to hear something different. But the result was the same. A human colony was gone. Vega 12's population, more than 2 million men, women, and children, had vanished in minutes. Commander Hale clenched his fists. This is not just an attack, he said quietly. This is a declaration of war. Across Earth, news channels screamed the same headline. Contact lost with Vega 12. Emergency meeting in United Earth Council. Unknown enemy detected near human colonies. Families cried, searching for answers. Friends called each other in fear. Soldiers prepared their gear without being told. Everyone knew something horrible had happened. At the heart of Earth City, the giant white dome of the United Earth Council lit up as leaders from every nation gathered inside. Generals, scientists, admirals, diplomats, all waited for Hale's report. When he entered, silence fell. He placed a small device on the table. This, he said, is the final message from the scout ship Horizon. He pressed the button. Myra's voice echoed throughout the dome. Vega 12 destroyed, enemy unknown, extremely dangerous. The recording cut out. Several leaders gasped. One woman covered her mouth. Another whispered, "This cannot be real." The head counselor, an older woman named Arya Lynn, stood slowly. "Commander Hale, what do we know about this enemy?" Hale shook his head. "Almost nothing. Their ship used cloaking. Their weapons cut metal like paper. They destroyed an entire colony in minutes." Arya closed her eyes for a moment. "And the Horizon's fate?" Hale answered with a heavy heart. "We have no contact. They were hit during transmission. We must assume the worst." The room went cold. He continued, "We need to assume Vega 12 was only the beginning." A tall admiral stood up. "We must respond immediately. If we wait, more colonies will fall." Another leader added, "We need to show the galaxy that humanity will not fold." Commander Hale nodded. "Earth has one last option. But it has never been used." Everyone leaned forward. "Activate Protocol Titanfall," Hale said. The room filled with shocked whispers. Titanfall was humanity's most powerful defense plan, only used when the entire human race was in danger. It allowed Earth to deploy its full military power, including all fleets, all shipyards, all reserves. Arya stared at him. "Do you understand what you are asking?" Hale replied, "If we do nothing, our colonies will be destroyed one by one." Vega 12 proves this enemy does not negotiate. They do not communicate. They only kill. A long silence followed. Then Arya turned to the council. "All in favor of activating Protocol Titanfall?" Hands slowly rose. 1, then 2, then 10. Soon every hand was raised. Arya took a deep breath. "The order is approved." Commander Hale saluted. "I will prepare the fleet." The next hours changed Earth forever. Massive screens lit up across cities. Earth Fleet Mobilization, Level 7. All shipyards active. Civilians advised to remain calm. In orbit, hundreds of enormous shipyards came alive. Engines roared. Lights flashed. Thousands of workers rushed to stations. Warships, some the size of mountains, undocked and took formation. Destroyers, carriers, stealth cruisers, dreadnoughts with thick, armor-plated hulls. From Mars to the Jupiter stations, from Luna to Titan outposts, every fleet moved at once. The galaxy had never seen such power. By the end of the day, Earth had prepared something only spoken about in legends. A 700,000-ship Retribution Armada. In the middle of this storm of preparation, Admiral Elias Reyes walked through the command hangar. His blue officer coat swayed behind him as he studied each ship being loaded with weapons, fuel, and supplies. Reyes was famous, known as the Lion of Earth. He had won wars, saved colonies, and survived battles no one else had. If anyone could lead this mission, it was him. A young officer saluted nervously. "Sir, the Armada awaits your final orders." Reyes looked at the massive hologram of the fleet, hundreds of thousands of ships stretching across the map. "Do we know who attacked Vega 12? He asked. "Not yet, sir." Reyes nodded slowly. "Then we will find them. And when we do..." His voice became cold. "We will show them what it means to attack humanity." He touched the glowing start button on the console. Across space, every ship's engine ignited at once. The roar shook satellite stations. Light streaked across the darkness. The Armada began its journey. Back on Earth, Commander Hale watched the fleet rise like a storm of fire and steel. He whispered to himself, "They erased a human world. Now humanity rises." But in the darkness of distant space, the enemy had already noticed the movement, and they were waiting. The 700,000-ship human armada moved through space like a metal storm. Engines burned bright blue, forming long lines of light behind every vessel. Across the fleet, soldiers prepared their weapons, engineers checked systems, and officers studied maps of star routes. Everyone knew the mission was dangerous. But no one knew how dangerous. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship UEF Titanus, a massive dreadnought with enough firepower to destroy moons. The bridge was calm, but the tension in the air felt heavy. Every officer kept glancing at the large holoscreen in front of them, waiting for any sign of the enemy. "Status?" Reyes asked. "Armada is holding formation," replied Officer Ria. "All ships ready for combat." Reyes nodded. "Good. We move to the Vega 12 debris field first. The truth must be found there." Hours later, the massive fleet reached the silent graveyard of Vega 12. Even from a distance, the wreckage was horrifying. Entire cities floated in pieces. Ships broken in half. Burnt farms and dead forests. Homes that once held families now drifting in the vacuum. When the fleet stopped, an eerie silence filled the bridge. Ria whispered, "So this is what happened." Reyes stepped closer to the holodisplay. "Scan everything," he ordered. "We need answers." Dozens of scanning drones flew into the field. Data streamed back to Titanus. Every screen on the bridge lit up with information. But something was strange. The debris showed clear signs of unknown weapons. Weapons that did not match any known species in the galaxy. The cuts were too clean. The burns too unnatural. The materials too deeply scarred. "It looks like the metal was eaten," one scientist said quietly. "As if the weapon melts matter at the atomic level." Reyes narrowed his eyes. "No pirate has such weapons. No known empire either." Ria leaned forward. "Then who did this?" Before anyone could answer, the sensor officer suddenly gasped. "Admiral, I'm picking up something. Something big." The entire bridge turned toward the main screen. A small object drifted toward them, glowing faintly. It was a black box. The last recording device from the horizon. Reyes' voice filled the room with urgency. "Bring it aboard." Minutes later, the black box was connected to the Titanus system. The screen flickered with static, then finally displayed the destroyed colony from Horizon's view. Myra's voice, weak and broken, echoed through the bridge. "Horizon, reporting. Vega 12 destroyed." Then the video showed something no human had seen before. A massive shadow-like ship appearing from cloaking, its surface black as smoke, its shape jagged and unnatural. It looked alive, like a mixture of machine and creature. Reyes leaned closer. "Pause it." The screen froze on the alien ship. Enhanced the image. The jagged edges became clearer. Strange glowing lines pulsed across the hull. Symbols, sharp, curved, and ancient-looking, were carved into the metal. They glowed with red energy. Ria whispered, "This ship, it's like something from a nightmare." Reyes nodded slowly. He had fought pirates, rebels, alien marauders, but never anything like this. "Run a full database match," he ordered. The computer scanned, and scanned, and scanned. Then it displayed a single red message. "No match found. Unknown species. Unknown technology. Unknown threat level." The bridge went silent. "This is impossible," Rhea said quietly. "The galaxy has thousands of species. How can this one be missing?" Reyes replied, "Only one explanation, they come from outside known space." The officers stared at him with fear. Outside known space meant one thing. Something ancient. Something hidden. Something powerful. Suddenly the black box recording continued. The alien ship moved closer. More symbols glowed. And then, just before the horizon was hit, an audio signal appeared. A deep, metallic voice spoke in a language no human recognized. The translation system tried to analyze it. After a long moment, it produced a rough translation. "The Obsidian Dominion claims this world. Life will be harvested. Resistance is meaningless." Every officer froze. The name echoed across the bridge. "Obsidian Dominion." Rhea whispered, "Harvested? They don't conquer planets. They consume them?" Rhea's jaw tightened. "These monsters destroyed Vega 12 like it was nothing. We cannot let them reach another colony." Before he could continue, the alarm blared. "Warning, multiple signals detected." "Admiral," the sensor officer shouted. "Unknown ships approaching." Reyes rushed to the screen. Out of the darkness, 1, 2, then 10 huge black ships appeared. Their red symbols glowed like fire in the void. Their engines made no sound. They moved like shadows. "The Dominion," Rhea whispered. "They were waiting for us." More ships uncloaked. 20, 40, 60. A swarm. Reyes stood firm, his voice cold and steady. "All ships, battle positions." They attacked a human world. Now, they face humanity. The Dominion fleet charged forward, their weapons glowing with deadly dark energy. The human armada prepared to fire. And the greatest battle humanity had ever seen was about to begin. The space around Vega 12 turned red as the enemy ships activated their glowing lines. The Obsidian Dominion fleet moved like a living storm. Every ship was shaped like a dark blade, silent and deadly. Their hulls shimmered with shifting shadows as if they were drinking the light around them. On the bridge of the UEF Titanus, Admiral Reyes stood tall. "Focus," he said calmly. "Humanity is watching us today." The entire 700,000 ship armada was ready. Engines on. Weapons armed. Shields at full power. But still, fear whispered through every mind. These enemy ships were unlike anything humans had ever met. The Dominion fleet struck first. Without warning, dozens of black ships fired beams of dark energy. The beams cut through space with terrifying speed. A human frigate exploded instantly. Then another. Then 5 more. The Dominion didn't test. Didn't warn. Didn't hesitate. They attacked like an ancient hunger that had waited centuries to be fed. On the Titanus bridge, warnings flashed across every screen. "Admiral, 10 ships lost in the first volley. Enemy weapons are bending our shields. Sir, their energy signatures are off the chart." Reyes didn't blink. Return fire. Full power. The human armada unleashed its own storm. Thousands of lasers, missiles and plasma shots lit up the darkness. The space between the two fleets turned into a violent dance of fire and shadow. A Dominion cruiser was hit by 50 beams at once. For a moment, it staggered, then exploded into black shards. Cheers erupted on the Titanus bridge. But the celebration was short. 3 more Dominion cruisers moved forward, replacing the fallen one like new blades sliding from a sheath. "They don't stop," Rhea said quietly. "Not even for a second." Human destroyers advanced. Dominion cutters sliced through them. Human fighters swarmed the enemy. Dominion drones crushed entire squadrons. Human missiles locked on targets. Dominion ships bent gravity to redirect them. No one had ever seen such technology. On a small human battleship named Aurora's Edge, Captain Bryn shouted orders as the ship shook violently. "Keep the shield stable." "We can't. Their beams are cutting through like acid." "Then reroute power from the engines." "If we do, we won't be able to move." Bryn's voice shook, but he forced calm. "Better to live without moving than die with full speed." They redirected power. Shields held for now. Back on Titanus, Reyes watched the battle map update every second. Red markers, enemy ships. Blue markers, human ships. Too many blue markers were turning black. "Admiral," the sensor officer said, voice trembling, "we've lost 300 ships already." "Enemy?" "Only 12. Rhea closed her eyes for a moment. "This isn't a battle, it's a slaughter." Reyes turned toward her. "Then we changed the rules." He opened a secure channel to the entire armada. "All ships," he said, This is Admiral Elias Reyes. Today we fight an enemy that thinks humans are weak, that thinks we run, that thinks we break. He paused. We will prove them wrong. Every captain, soldier, and pilot listened. We are not fighting for territory. We are not fighting for pride. We fight for Vega 12. For our families. For every human who trusts us to stand between them and darkness. His voice grew sharper. Activate Wolf Formation. Gasps spread across the bridge. Wolf Formation was one of humanity's most dangerous, risky war formations. A massive pincer attack meant to crush enemies from both sides. No species had ever tried it against unknown foes. Reyes didn't care. Do it. Ships moved instantly. 2 giant waves of human vessels curved outwards, forming a massive half-circle around the Dominion ships. The enemy noticed too late. Now, Reyes ordered. From both sides the human armada attacked at once. Thousands of beams hit the Dominion ships. Missiles streaked across space. Carriers launched every fighter they had. The Dominion fleet staggered. Several of their dark cruisers cracked under the pressure. 2 exploded so violently that shockwaves rippled through space. For the first time the enemy was pushed back. Human crews cheered. Pilots screamed victory. Captains shouted orders with renewed strength. Even Rhea allowed herself a small smile. It's working. But Admiral Reyes didn't smile. Something was wrong. He watched the red dots on the battle map. The Dominion ships weren't retreating, they were repositioning. Admiral? Rhea asked. What do you see? Reyes spoke in a low voice. They knew we would try this. At that moment, the Dominion fleet opened a massive gap in their formation, on purpose. And from the darkness behind them, something enormous appeared. The sensor screamed. New contact. Admiral, oh God, size class unknown. It's bigger than a dreadnought. Bigger than anything we've seen. Reyes stared at the view screen. A monstrous black Titan ship emerged, glowing red like a living volcano. Its hull was covered in massive scars of ancient battles. It was easily 10 times the size of Titanus. The ship didn't fire. It simply appeared. And its presence alone froze every human soldier in fear. Rhea whispered, That must be their command ship. Reyes didn't answer. His eyes stayed locked on the giant shadow. Then the enemy ship's front glowed brighter and brighter, as if something inside it was waking up. The Dominion Titan was preparing a weapon powerful enough to rewrite the battle. Reyes finally spoke, voice filled with grim certainty. Brace for impact. The real fight starts now. For a moment, the council chamber became painfully silent. No one moved. No one breathed. Not even the floating drones dared to send a notification sound. Because everyone in that room had finally realized something. The ambassador before them was not afraid. He was calm. Too calm. Ambassador Hale finally stood upright, his hands behind his back, as if he were teaching a class instead of facing 20 alien leaders. His eyes scanned the room slowly, politely, but everyone felt the weight behind that gaze. Across the table, the Atari commander pressed his claws deep into the metal surface. You dare threaten us? He asked, voice shaking. Hale simply replied, No. I am warning you. Those words hit the room like a falling meteor. The Voker general shook his head. Your colony attacked one of our patrol fleets. This is your punishment. Hale raised one eyebrow. Patrol fleet? He asked softly. Is that what you are calling it? Everyone's blood froze. Hale lifted his wrist device and tapped once. A hologram projected into the center of the chamber. The truth. A video, grainy, time-stamped. The alien patrol fleet firing first. Launching missiles. Destroying the human outpost before any communication could be made. No warning. No diplomacy. No mistake. A deliberate strike. The council gasped. Some stood. Some cursed in their own languages. The room erupted in chaos. Hale simply waited. When the shouting slowed, he said evenly, Humanity does not seek war. But we will defend ourselves. We will defend our people. And we will defend our colonies. The Ralith scholar floated forward on her anti-grav chair. Her glowing eyes studied Hale. If you have such proof, she asked slowly, why bring an armada of this size? Hale tapped another command. The hologram changed. Not a video this time. A map of space. Thousands of blue dots. Then tens of thousands. Then hundreds of thousands. Finally the number appeared above the projection. 700,000 active human warships. The council chamber went completely quiet again. Some alien leaders leaned closer, thinking maybe their eyes were wrong. Some took a step back as if the hologram itself was dangerous. The diplomat whispered, This is the largest fleet ever assembled. And Hale only said, It is not assembled. That is simply our standard counterattack response for a colony-level strike. The room trembled. Hale continued, You destroyed a human colony. You killed over 80,000 civilians. Now the Armada is coming. The Atari commander slammed his claws on the table. You cannot be serious. Calling such a force for one colony? Are you humans insane? Hale answered calmly, No. We value every life, every citizen, every child. Then he leaned forward just slightly. And when someone kills our people, humanity does not ask why. Humanity asks only one question. He paused long enough for every being in that room to feel the tension squeeze their throat. Then he said, Who is responsible? A cold wave spread across the chamber. The Voker general stepped back. This is impossible. You cannot deploy such a force. Your supply lines would collapse. Your command structure. Hale interrupted, still polite. You misunderstand. We are not deploying them. They were already on standby. The council realized something terrifying. Humanity had prepared for a moment like this. They had plans. They had coordination. They had discipline. A species willing to send 700,000 ships. Not for conquest, not for glory, but for justice. The Ralith scholar spoke again, voice trembling despite her calm nature. Ambassador Hale, what will the Armada do when it reaches our borders? Hale did not smile. He did not raise his voice. He simply answered with cold truth. That depends on what this council decides in the next few hours. A dead silence followed. Then Hale added one more line, the line that made several members of the council's security detail drop their weapons out of pure fear. If you wish peace, speak now. If you choose war. His voice lowered. Then prepare to face the largest retaliation force the galaxy has ever seen. The council members whispered anxiously. Some wanted negotiation. Some wanted to flee. Some wanted to fight but were too terrified to admit it. Hale folded his arms and stood perfectly still. He had delivered the message. Now the galaxy had to respond. The council chamber no longer felt like a place of diplomacy. It felt like a cage slowly filling with fire. No one dared to sit. No one dared to look directly at Ambassador Hale for more than a few seconds. Even the air seemed heavy, as if space itself was holding its breath. The Atari commander, usually loud and fearless, finally spoke again, but his voice cracked. What happens if we choose peace? Hale studied him carefully, as if deciding how much truth the room could handle. Then the Armada will stop at your borders, he said quietly. Humanity will request the names of those who ordered the attack. Those individuals will be taken into custody. Nothing more. It was peaceful. It was fair. It was completely reasonable. And yet, the room trembled more than before. Because they all understood the other option. The Voker general stepped forward, trying to regain control of the situation. His armored footsteps echoed like distant thunder. And if we choose war? He asked. Hale did not hesitate. Then the Armada will not stop. No shouting. No anger. Just a flat, honest statement. The Trinari priestess, her silver tendrils shaking, whispered, Your ships are already near our outer systems? Hale nodded. In 3 hours, he said, your long-range sensors will detect them. Several council members gasped. 3 hours was nothing. A blink of an eye for space travel. It meant the human armada was already close, too close. Someone in the back of the chamber dropped a data tablet. The sharp clatter made half the room flinch. The diplomat, known for her cold logic, finally spoke up. Ambassador Hale, there must be something more you want. No species sends 700,000 warships just for simple justice. Hale stared at her for a long moment. When he answered, his voice was almost gentle. You still misunderstand humanity. The room leaned in, unable to look away. We do not conquer. We do not enslave. We do not seek planets or resources. He paused, letting the truth settle. We protect our own. And we punish those who destroy innocent lives. Those words were heavier than any weapon. The council's prime speaker, an elderly being with a body like glowing crystal, approached the center of the chamber. His voice carried authority, but beneath it, deep fear. Ambassador Hale, surely there must be a way to stop this without war. Hale finally sat down, folding his hands calmly on the table. There is, he said. Tell the truth. Admit the attack. Hand over those responsible. And offer reparations to the murdered colony. The Atari commander hissed loudly, Never. My people will not. But the Prime Speaker cut him off. Your people started this. Your fleet fired first. The room snapped into chaos again. Arguments, accusations, shouting in 20 languages. But this time it wasn't directed at Hale. It was directed at each other. The entire council was breaking apart. Some demanding peace, others demanding war, some terrified, some angry, some simply confused. Ambassador Hale watched silently. It was the most dangerous silence of all. After several minutes of shouting, the Prime Speaker finally slammed his crystal staff on the floor. A resonant tone swept through the chamber, silencing everyone. We must vote, he said. The words dropped like a guillotine. A vote. For peace. Or for war. Every member looked sick. Their faces were pale. Their hands shook. Because no matter what they chose, the galaxy would change forever. They turned to Hale one last time. What will humanity do? The Prime Speaker asked softly. If the vote is split? Hale looked at him with tired eyes, not angry, not proud, simply honest. Then, he said, the Armada will move forward until your entire government reaches a single decision. A cold silence swallowed the room. The Prime Speaker nodded once. Very well, he whispered. The vote will begin. One by one, the lights above each representative flickered. Blue for peace. Red for war. The entire chamber held its breath. Hale stood there quiet and still, waiting.